The last question I want to go over in this everlasting section is finding the real zeros of f of x is equal to 6x cubed minus 4x squared plus 3x minus 2. We are going to use our p's and our q's to find the possibles. Remember last year I would always say p over q, possibles. The factors of 2 plus or minus 1 plus or minus 2 over the factors of 6. 1, 2, 3, 6. So all of the possibles, remember we have to take 1 over 1, 2, 3, 6. 1 over 1 is 1. 1/2, 1/3, 1/6, and then I'm going to take 2 over 1, 2, well 2 over 2 is 1, we already have that, 2 over 3, 2/3, and 2 over 6 is 1/3, we already have that. Now, if you were not provided a calculator, you would have to plug in every single one of these to see if they work. So for example, I'm going to use synthetic division, put the numbers across, 6, -4, 3, -2. I know it's a factor if 0 is the remainder. So I am going to do this. Or if you are allowed a calculator, you could go ahead and put this in your TI-84. And we're going to put all of this right here in your TI-84 to see which ones go through. So that's where we're going to stop right now and see which of these possibles go through at 0. So this one looks like a cubic, and I believe we checked it earlier in class, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you that it looked like 2/3 went through. Now I'm going to verify just to make sure that 2/3 was the 1. I know that it's a factor if the remainder is 0. Now 2/3 of 6 is 4, so when I multiply that, anything times 0 is 0, and 2/3 of 3 is 2. So this is a factor. Remember, since we started on x cubed, this one will start on x squared. But I also told you that you have to go ahead and reduce. So because 6 and 3 can reduce by 3, we're actually going to write this as 2x squared. I don't need the 0x because anything times 0 is 0. And 3 goes into 3 one time. So I'm going to solve this because it is not factorable right here. So I'm going to go ahead and solve this. Now remember, 2/3 was one of my solutions. If I make this equivalent to 0, I subtract the 1 over. I divide by 2. And when I take the square root of each side, I have the square root of -1 over the square root of 2. Now, we know that the square root of -1 is equal to I, but I have to rationalize the square root of 2 because I can't have the square root of 2 in the denominator. So I'm going to do that very quickly. I know I could do that by multiplying by root 2 over root 2. If I multiply anything through by 1, it does not change. And I have root 2i, well, root 2 times root 2 is root 4, which is 2. And don't forget, we always have to answer with a plus and a minus because this was an x squared, and x squared means a plus and a minus. So my 3 answers were 2/3, and then we just found plus or minus I root 2 over 2. My question for you that I don't think we saw, it says real zeros. Notice these are not real numbers. I just found imaginary numbers. So we're actually getting to this in 2-4. We're going to talk about imaginaries and complex numbers. So that warms us up. The only real zero in this case would be 2 over 3. But we did find some imaginary zeros as well, so buckle your seatbelt and get ready for that as well.